Is this guy seriously saying that I can't get laid? Do you have any idea who the f you're talking to? When I got off Tinder because of the quarantine, Tacoma wept. Even like ignoring the fact that I have a girlfriend, even if we're just talking like randos, I'm 2 hours away right now from being inside somebody else.
This is basically the way that I view it, okay? This is my prescription, okay? If you wanted to get to a prescription, here we go, all right? And this isn't popular, and this prescription literally pisses everybody off. When it comes to the N-word, here's what it should be. Here's the problem, okay? For some reason, we have all these forms of analysis of how people work. But when it comes to white people, we drop all of it, okay? We just eject all of it out of our mind. So like, here are some things that I generally know to be true, all right? Welcome to the Miami Park, okay? There you go. Hey, check out Hasan saying, anyone who hates him can only hate him because they are racist. Ooh, Hasan.
Because I'm putting 100%.
Oh my God.
So why the f would the hate watchers watch? Why would they hate me? It's not because like, what do you think they, what would they hate me for if not the things I say and the things I do? So if my worldview revolves around anti-racism, if my worldview revolves around uplifting, you know, the material conditions of the working class, if my worldview revolves around anti-imperialism, the people that hate watch me are going to be diametrically opposed to that, and that's precisely why they fucking hate me.
What? Okay. Vaush memes. Can we get a listen? I'm like, I have to stand in this position. I don't feel like doing hardcore meme review tonight. Okay, I'm just saying hi to you guys because I feel bad because I've been streamed for like 12 years. Okay.
Hans's argument is, well, if you're saying that a person who identifies as helicopter gender is metaphorically a helicopter, aren't you saying trans women are only metaphorically women? To which my answer would be, all of us are only metaphorically men, women, or other. You know, Hans's argument is, well, if you're saying that a person who identifies as helicopter gender is metaphorically a helicopter, aren't you saying trans women are only metaphorically women? To which my answer would be, all of us are only metaphorically men, women, or other.
Vaush, why did you stop attending class after the first lesson? You missed so much. I take back what I said before about Vaush copying my takes. It's okay, you can copy my shit.
I'm putting 100%.
Come home, my child, okay? We'll help you out a little bit, my dude. When we create categories for things, right? It's a form of organization that we have to make sense of the world. You understand that you can't just look at matter and like, right? You make sense of it, right? Like I don't just see matter. I see like a door handle, a camera. We group things, okay? The groupings are arbitrary in that we could group things any way we wanted to. For instance, is this a mouse? Or is it like 2 buttons in a plastic shell? Or is it 4 buttons and a plastic part of it? Right, yes, technically we can group it any way we want, okay? Now, the problem, Vaush only attended a first class, all right? In the first class, the groupings are arbitrary, but there is an underlying fact of the matter, right? There is something here that does exist. We agree with that, right? There is something here that does exist. If you don't agree with that, leave. You're ultimately skeptical. Nobody wants to be your friend. Nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody even wants to write papers at you, okay? Because your position is boring, okay? So there is some underlying fact of the matter. We agree with that, okay? The problem is that Vaush has this idea where he's like, well, if the groupings are arbitrary, does anything even exist at all? But that's not the case. The groupings might be arbitrary, but there is going to be some underlying fact of the matter. So how we decide, like, if we have male or female, is there some arbitrary grouping there? Sure. How we draw the lines, you know, we could change it, but that doesn't mean there isn't some underlying fact of the matter, okay? I've realized this as I've pushed more and more over the past few months. I've done this, okay? I don't give myself enough credit, okay? I can change the discourse, okay? Funny clip of Vaush getting mad that someone said he doesn't have any sex. Uh-oh.
Wait, is this guy seriously saying that I can't get laid? Incredible, I'll give you 5,000 if you can get poontang before January 1st. Do you have any idea who the f you're talking to? When I got off Tinder because of the quarantine, Tacoma wept. Even like ignoring the fact that I have a girlfriend, even if we're just talking like randos, I'm 2 hours away right now from being inside somebody else. This is one.
What? Oh, man. Oh, God.
I have 2 skills, and it's non-monogamy and speaking publicly, okay? Do some fucking research.
Jesus. This might be the most aggressive discourse change yet, okay? Are you ready? Its pronouns, otherkin, all that shit. I am henceforth not going to refer to that classification of whatever that is as trans anymore. I'm ejecting all of it, okay? I am putting forth my own definition, okay? Trans will include male to female, female to male, I guess intersex, and non-binary, sure. But all of the other kin shit, all of the xenogender, all of that shit doesn't get to be called trans on my stream. We do not do that here. You can refer to it as what it is, but autism gender and helicopter gender and all this other crazy shit, I'm not going to let that be a subsection of trans anymore, because I'm not going to let people invoke all of the struggle and all of the righteousness that trans people have behind them now to defend their dog shit crazy attention-seeking behavior on Twitter. Just because I reject that autism is a gender does not make me transphobic, okay? So that's the new push, okay? We're setting the discourse on that one, okay? All right, we can keep gamer gender. And we can keep Vaush gender, okay? We can keep Vaush gender. Destiny's cold and doesn't want to. I'm not cold, okay? Destiny looks like a new Final Fantasy character. I am. True. Thank you, okay? The right is not growing, it's just the left is so fucking. No! What have I said for years? What have I said for years? You guys remember what I said? Conservatives, look at brown people. These people are your allies, okay? They hate socialism. Most of them do, all right? They work fucking hard. Most of them do. They're very family and community oriented. Most of them are, okay? They're incredibly socially conservative. Most of them are. They believe in traditional gender roles. A lot of them are religious. That's your next voter base right there, okay? The evangelicals, all right? Hispanic people are the future of the Republican Party. And now, supposedly, it's right in the middle. Hispanics are like 50-50 Republican and Democrat now. It's insane. I honestly believe you can be a driving force for good for the Dems, so dismantling right-wing talking points. The skeptics in 2016 were running scared, reducing high energy. The problem is right now, the Democrats are getting hit from the left and right hard. Online, all the extreme left people hate Biden. The leftists hate Biden, and the fucking progressives hate Biden. Fuck. So the actual leftists, the socialists and the commies, the guys that wear adult diapers and still shit themselves every day, those guys hate Biden. But then the progressives, all the white women that fetishize the fuck out of black people on their Facebook posts constantly to try to make up for ancestors that they probably don't even know about, whether they had slaves or not, right? Those people, all of them hate Biden. So you have these two huge groups of people, the lefties, who are largely ineffective losers, and then the progressives that are not ineffective losers, are actually quite influential, attacking Biden. And then on the other end, you've got Republicans who will never do anything in government again. I guess they're just done. They're done governmenting. They don't believe in it anymore, I guess. They're just gonna sit and do nothing. What is the web thing? Okay, so the web thing is you have these vague associations, and all you try to do is you try to get somebody into the web, and then once they're caught, you can funnel them down into the baser thing. That's it. But I need to draw it out. But I think we can actually draw concrete examples of the web thing, because it is real. And I see it now. I see the webs everywhere. Okay, it's like the Matrix. Once you see the code, and then you go out, you're like, holy fuck. He's trying to web that dude. Or that guy that's struggling right now to fight it, he can't. He's in the web. He's already gotten webbed, okay? You have to be able to see the web to get out of the web. No, you can't get out of the web. You gotta see the web to avoid the web, okay? Like what, for example? Okay, let's say somebody says, can I think of a non-inflammatory example? Let's say somebody says, I like to wear kimonos for fucking dance. Do you wear them outside the house? I don't know, okay? I don't think it should be racist if I want to wear a kimono to a dance, okay? Let's say a girl says that, all right? Now, there are two approaches that we can take towards attacking an argument. Now, we can either do this deductively. Now, when I say deductively, what I mean is we can do point, conclusion, right? So, by the virtue of deduction, assuming I'm laying out my points logically, the conclusion will inevitably follow, okay? 1. Number 2, That's the first way to do it, okay? This is the first way, okay? But the web, okay? I didn't see the web before, okay? Because it's hard to see. Silk is very fine, all right? Spider shit, okay? It's very hard to see unless the sunlight hits it just right, okay? And the sun shined in my mind and I saw the web, okay? Destiny, that's induction? That's not induction. Oh, you put a rule. Fuck you, that's deduction, okay? So what the web is the web is basically, we have this like, we use heuristics to kind of figure out like what shit is, the way that we group things as humans. For instance, let's say that I hear a sound like a that's a sound that I associate with cars, maybe fast cars, maybe the noise I associate with douchebags. There's a lot of assumptions that I make about a certain thing. Maybe they're speeding just by hearing one noise, right? I have like this web of assumptions that I have just by hearing that one thing. We can say like politically, okay? If the central point of my web is like, this is a horrible racist person, maybe one branch out of that is like, they're a Nazi. Maybe one branch out from that is like, they're an alt-righter. Maybe one branch out from that is like, they're a fascist. Maybe another branch out from that might be like, they support the thin blue line. They support MAGA, Trump. They'll use things like all lives matter, right? What happens is, if you follow that branch that I just made, I can't draw it, that web, okay, is if I go to debate somebody, instead of actually engaging with their points, I'm gonna try to get them on one of the points of the web, on the outer part, and then I'm gonna try to funnel them down inside, right? So let's say somebody's arguing, we'll go back to the kimono thing, okay? Let's say they're like, oh, I think I should be able to wear a kimono. You're like, you think you should be able to wear a kimono? Okay, like, they won't even engage somebody, like, do you like cops? And they'll be like, I guess so, maybe. And it's like, oh, you like cops. You support like Blue Lives Matter. It's like, well, maybe not. Okay, maybe not Blue Lives Matter, but like you think cop lives are important. Yes, Blue Lives Matter. Thin blue line, fascist, Nazi, horrible racist piece of shit, right? Like the goal is to just like, and the way that you see this, so the way that this happens, right? Wait, is my internet lagging? Oh shit, wait, did I lag through that? No, okay. So the way that I see this happening is, I started to read my quote tweets more to see how other people talk about what I say. And I've noticed this because like I'm always really frustrated. Because I feel like I'm never having arguments with people. And I realize now why. It's because they're in the web. So if I tweet something out like, hey, I think that we shouldn't have riots, the responses are never like, actually, Destiny, rioting can be an effective way to raise awareness for a movement, or actually, Destiny, rioting is just inevitability of the state's oppression of a person, or actually, Destiny, rioting maybe should be opposed, but it's not the people. It's never this. Instead, it's like Destiny supports killing protesters. Destiny is a fascist. Destiny loves the cops. Destiny, right? It's never actually engaging with the point. It's just trying to get me somewhere on the web, and then all the people past that can just funnel me down. And I noticed that like that web thing is super duper duper the way that everybody argues. And you're gonna hear me explain this like 20 times, okay? Because what I'm gonna do over the next few weeks is when I see people do this, I'm gonna start to show you, look, they're doing the web thing. I did it today a couple times when people were quote tweeting me. Oh, so like the surf. So I laid out, I did 2 quote tweets where I didn't use an asterisk instead of an I, so a whole bunch of white people lost their fucking minds for some reason. But I basically said, I think it's weird that some people are okay with like casual use of a version of the N-word, or they're not okay with white people singing to rap songs, but they're like super on board with like calling white people cracker, and I'm just like, damn, like that seems a little bit strange to me. And then I said that the constant demonization and attacking of white people is very weird and cringe and not good for the movement. I said something like that basically in 2 tweets. None of the quote tweets from any of the larger lefty creators actually engage with that point. Instead, like, I think the Serfs tweeted, Destiny really wants to use the N-word. And if I do, I would just tweet it, because it's not my account. And 2, Thought Slime tweeted out, like, oh, Destiny's just mad because their ancestors owned slaves and that upsets you, I guess? And then 3, there was one other larger content creator. Big Joel said something stupid as well. Oh, like, I don't even think cracker is a slur or whatever. It's something stupid. But I notice when people engage in my stuff, they're never actually addressed. Vaush does this now, unfortunately. This is a change in behavior because they didn't used to do this. Vaush does this as well. Instead of actually engaging with any of the substances of what I've said, it's trying to pin somebody on the web somewhere. It's trying to pin somebody on the web. So I know this is boring when I explain this, but I'm going to try to... I'm trying not to include 39 DAF here because I'm trying to restrict my commentary to like 95 IQ or higher right now, okay? I'm I'm gonna end up explaining this web thing a lot, and I'm probably gonna try to refine it, and I'm probably gonna read something later on that like this is the psychological model for it. Somebody said they emailed me a paper 2 weeks ago. I probably read part of it, but I'm gonna be pointing this out a lot more because I think it's a good way to see how people engage with points. Yeah, and I think it's something that I've been like implicitly aware of without knowing its existence, because the number one example that I can remember when this happened was during the Amos stuff. When people were debating him about pedophilia, instead of actually engaging with his arguments, it was just trying to stick him on a web somewhere and then not actually engage with anything because they either didn't know how to or what. But yeah, I remember that. And it happens with a lot of debates actually, where people can't engage with the arguments. But yeah. Big Joel and Merrick was saying that someone that would be offended by Cracker was oversensitive. Okay, first of all, Merrick is having breakdowns every 2 weeks on Twitter, okay? And also, Big Joel is just fucking... it's Big Joel, okay? Okay? Destiny, this web thing sounds like the results of ideological pipelines being brought up in online discourse. Now, any of the pipeline is characterized as the worst aspects of it? Sometimes, a little bit, yeah. Do people actually know why saying the N-word is bad? No, okay? But I'm gonna be honest with you, okay? I'm gonna tell you, all right? The cultural application of the N-word is like a unified theory of relativity and quantum mechanics or whatever, okay? The whole gravity shit. There's no explanation, okay? It doesn't make sense. There is no holistic, non-contradictory definition that you can give for why a word might be bad, but also why it can be in all of the most popular songs that are played all across the planet. Like, there is none. I'm sorry, if you're some online white or black activist and that upsets you, sorry, eat shit. That's just true. You will never find a cohesive, coherent argument that somehow covers all of that. Yeah, I don't know. Can we make a targeted 2022 video where you reset your political ideology? People really don't know where you stand and they never go on the website. I thought about it, but like, I don't really want people to like bite my like political leanings from me. That's not my goal. I just want you guys to get like to learn how to like read an article and then to have like some sort of like ethics foundation for your beliefs. That's all I really want. Like, if one of you guys comes up to me one day and you're like, "Hi Destiny, I'm a socialist," okay? Well, firstly, cringe, okay? But then if you're like, you know, I thought about it. Morally, I'm uncomfortable with a world where hierarchies exist because a lot of hierarchies are created by unjust means, and I think there's a lot of like biological essentialism that goes into determining who's better at some things versus other people, and I think the creation of those hierarchies is necessarily immoral, and from that necessarily immoral justification for a hierarchy, I reject hierarchy, so I'm like some form of anarchist. If you give me all that, I'm like, you know what? Sure, that's cool, dude. But if you come up to me like, Destiny, what's up? I'm a based omnilib. I agree with your N-word takes because I love saying the N-word all the time. Okay, well, you know what? That's not really what I talk about. That's kind of weird. So like, I don't really care as much about like, this is my whole political ideology and I hope you guys all believe it. It's more just like, learn how to read an article and then like learn how to do a little bit of critical thinking, right? If this guy says this thing, well, you know, is that a good thing or a bad thing? How should we feel about it? And then learn to have like some level, some amount of scale. Learn how to not hate somebody completely, okay? Because they say a bad thing or do a dumb thing. All right, don't be so binary with your view of the world. Are we going to do any slur debates, whether it's Cracker, N-word, etc., after the Twitter takes? I wanted to go through some of those threads and just read some things, just because, not really to have a debate over it, because I think that my side is like, it's pretty common sense. I hate to use that expression, but like, I don't think there's any good debates that are going to come out of this, because it's so obviously fucking stupid. But I think it's like, there's interesting material to talk about and just like conversationally, like why are some words okay? Why are some words bad? You know? I don't think anybody that has these like crazy takes that like the N-word is literally fucking Voldemort, but screaming the word cracker at a white person is 100% wholly defensible and should be encouraged and said, right? That type of person is never going to have an argument with me. And if they did, they would crumble like before the call even begins. I just know they would. Somebody talking about black people reclaiming the N-word. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in slur reclamation. I don't believe in it. I totally don't believe in it. Yeah. The way that I kind of like test that idea is like, how would I ever feel about any other word besides the N-word being reclaimed? I don't actually think I would be okay with it. So, as somebody that is, hey, member of the bisexual community, I'm not really comfortable with gay people or other bisexual people like just casually using the F slur to describe everything. I don't that doesn't sound like a good idea to me. Or trans people using like tranny as a slur. I'm not comfortable with that either. That sounds really weird. That idea behind slur reclamation is literally only used as like a very roundabout way to try to say that like black people can say the N-word or whatever. This conversation is so boring because nobody's capable of engaging because people's minds like instantly like rot, okay? What I would actually say is I would say that the N-word that's being used right now is not actually the same N-word that like slave people use. It's a different word. It sounds similar, sometimes even written similarly, but I would say that it's like fundamentally a different word. People keep bringing up the word queer. First of all, I would argue the word queer was lost. I don't know if queer was lost and reclaimed or if it just fell out of common parlance, because queer meant something before like LGBT people, and then queer became kind of an insult, but now there are like other insults and people just don't use queer as an insult anymore. But the thing is, if that's reclaimed, non-gay people can still use queer in common parlance. Now it's kind of like a deprecated term, but like I think when I read like philosophy sometimes, I think the word queer is used to describe strange and stuff. But yeah. Yes, the N-word was reclaimed and the definition is different. It doesn't mean the same thing, yes, and... No, I just... look up queer history before acting as an authority on it. I'm not acting as an authority, okay? Dumb motherfucker. And secondly, if I say something wrong... Actually, also, never letting anybody get away with that ever again. If I say something wrong, correct me. And actually, you in chat now, hold on, where are you, dipshit Arari? Correct me. 99% of the time, you dumb motherfuckers say look up history, you haven't. You have no fucking idea what you're talking about, and you say that shit to vaguely allude to some idea that you've seen like in a fucking Twitter headline, okay? I agree with you, but what do you necessarily think should change about the usage of the N-word based on those facts? What I think doesn't really matter because it's like a social or cultural phenomenon. I guess I just wish that like people could draw lines between different types of behavior. I've said this before. This is like looping back to like a very old take that I have, but like the way that we have like racist and non-racist as a binary is like very fucking weird, you know? So like a girl that went to like one of those debutante balls or whatever the fuck they're called, you know, when they're like 16, people will call somebody like that racist. Like, really? Is that racist in the same way that somebody that believes that like blacks are genetically inferior to whites is racist? Shouldn't we have like scaling degrees of like, you know, goodness or badness here? Isn't that like appropriate? Yeah, I don't know. Isn't that the point of slur reclamation? You're essentially saying that the soft A that African Americans use is no longer the same word it was. Gay people with the F word is the same goal. You're basically saying it sounds weird to me now. I don't really know the substance of your argument. Like concretely, what negative consequence did the evolution of the N-word have? I'm not saying it negatively had. Also, it's really hard to say concretely on any of this stuff because this is all incredibly social when it comes to social phenomenon. When I say that it sounds weird, I mean like arguably that's all this is. I don't believe there's been a slur that's been reclaimed ever, though, like the N-word. I only ever hear people talk about slur reclamation when it comes to the N-word. That's it. Like, if I'm going to be totally honest, one of the biggest reasons why it was so hard for me to break out of using... I hate saying F-slur. It is such a fucking juvenile way to have this conversation, but I don't know if this fucking platform will ban me if I say it, even though I fucking suck dick, okay? The problem that I have with like slur reclamation, and this is completely anecdotal, and I acknowledge that, but the only time I've heard gay people use the F slur extensively is usually when they're around other straight people, and I don't know if they want acceptance or it's part of it. So that kind of makes me wonder too. It was one of the reasons why it was so hard for me to accept when people were like, oh, you use the F slur, that means that you're homophobic. It was like, wait, the people that I knew the most growing up that used the F slur were gay. How can that possibly be, you know? And then when I look back, I kind of wonder, like, well, hold on, like, did gay people use the F slur because they were generally okay with it, or was it because it was a way of getting acceptance from straight people? Was it like some form of like internalized self-hatred? I don't know. Maybe I've never been in like super ultra gay communities. Maybe in those communities, maybe they do call each other the F word a lot. It's possible, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I think the reclamation of the N-word brought up some utility, but it feels like we've gotten stuck, and now we're in sort of this permanent in-between of it not being a slur and also still being a slur. Like, can we ever truly remove the slurness of the word if the reality continues to be that black people use it as common parlance? It almost feels like the better world... Yeah, like, this is basically the way that I view it, okay? This is my prescription, okay? If you wanted to get to a prescription, here we go, all right? And this isn't popular, and this prescription literally pisses everybody off. When it comes to the N-word, here's what it should be. Either everybody stops saying it, which some, like, black people believe, by the way. Richard Pryor, later in his career, completely stopped using the N-word entirely. I think Kanye West doesn't either anymore, actually. Bill Cosby at one point, I think, argued against it. There are other... Jesse Jackson? I don't remember if he did or not. I'd have to go... Or maybe that was against like, swear words in general. I don't know. I'd have to go and look it up. But, like, there are... No, did Kanye still use the N-word? Okay. Kanye might not. Kanye might still do it. That might not be true. But Morgan Freeman maybe did. I would have to... I don't know. These guys... Morgan Freeman doesn't necessarily count as like a black civil rights leader. But, like, basically, like, either nobody should use it commonly, like, ever, or we should move to a point to where all of us start to look at the context, basically. So if two white people want to go up to you and be like, what's up, my Ninjago? You know, fuck it. Who the fuck cares? Honestly, who the fuck cares? Who cares? Okay, where's the harm being caused? All right, this is like a Riley sex crime. Okay, the only damage that's happening is in your mind. You're hurting yourself. Okay, it's like a form of like mental suicide. Is when you see two white people call each other the N-word and somehow you find a way to get super ass mad about it. Who the fuck cares? Who cares? Who honestly cares? Okay, that's where I am on it. So I think either it should go away completely, which some people advocate for, or I think then we just like accept it. It's like, okay, good job, we reclaim the N-word. Like, it's not as harmful anymore. Now some people like says the N-word is an insult. That's bad, obviously. But you can say a lot of things as an insult that's bad. Yeah. I'm not saying this is necessarily particularly related, but what did you think about Joyner Lucas's "I'm Not Racist"? I thought it was a good song, but like obviously like very tip-tippy and very edgy. I thought it was, but it's hard to do anything around that subject without it being like very tip-tippy and very edgy. I thought it was okay though. We had that on a playlist for a while. Destiny, the point is that there is not a single person not black that wants to say the N-word for any reason other than to be racist. Milk, 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 boobers. So here's the problem, okay? For some reason, we have all these forms of analysis of how people work. But when it comes to white people, we drop all of it, okay? We just eject all of it out of our mind. So like, here are some things that I generally know to be true, all right? I'm gonna go to old things my mom said to me, all right? Like, there were two things she used to say. You are who you hang around, Stevie, and garbage in, garbage out. The idea being that whatever group of friends you surround yourself with, eventually you're going to think like them and talk like them and act like them. That's just how it goes. This is why one of the biggest concerns you have with your kid is like, don't run in with like bad groups of people because you're going to start doing fucked up shit every time. A lot of you guys talk like me. I know you do, because when I'm flirting with your girlfriends, the thing your girlfriends always say is, oh my God, my boyfriend sounds just like you, all right? And then she sends me pictures of her fat fucking boobs and ass. Woo, yeah, okay? I hear this all the time, right? My ex, my friends, my whatever, my son, my whatever, they talk just like you. I hear this all the time, right? Now, we know this to be true, right? We know this to be true. This is just how people are. Everybody knows this. But then everybody acts so weird that when you have every mainstream, like black musician and actor, constantly using the N-word, you somehow expect the main consumers of that content, white people, to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to consume this, understanding that it's funny and they can use that word, but I'm never going to use that type of word. Like that, it like defies like expectation. That's a really difficult thing for that you have to understand how inhuman it is, because for no other type of content would you ever expect that level of separation ever, right? That's all I'm saying. Xander Hall in DGG chat, you've been on some real dumb shit lately. Holy fuck. You've actually said some unimaginably, even for Xander Hall standards, some real dumb shit, bro. The weed is eating away at your brain, my friend, okay? Put down the bong. Every single white Cuban in Hialeah uses the N-word instead of dude all day, every day. Maybe. I haven't been to Hialeah in like fucking over a decade, and I plan to keep it that way, all right? Because we can kind of agree that we are in this midpoint with the use of the N-word, how do you think this topic plays out in the next 25 years? I don't think we're at a midpoint. I think we're way past, I actually, unpopularly take maybe, I think we're way past the end. If you're a white person and you see a black person and you're like, you're an N-word, right? Literally nobody left in society will defend you, okay? You have to go to the farthest right corners of the fucking political spectrum to find a single person like, yeah, that's okay. Even fucking Nazis these days on 4chan will be like, bro, you could have just called him a monkey. Why the fuck would you say that? Are you crazy? What is wrong with you? You look so stupid, right? Even fucking Nazis will say, okay, time to stop calling people the N-word. Obviously bad optics, doesn't work, right? So I think we're way past that point. It's not like, yeah, I don't know. It's just dumb. People are like, well, if you let people say it with the soft A, eventually they're going to start calling people with the hard argument. Like, how does that even, where does that even bridge? That's like saying if you like let people play with guns and Grand Theft Auto would kill people. I don't know. This topic is boring as fuck. It's a brain rot inducing topic, okay? Destiny, say that cracker is just as offensive as the N-word. Cracker is absolutely nowhere near as offensive as the N-word. Anybody that says otherwise is a dumb fuck. What? It's not, obviously. But we can still say that like both are bad. Or we can just say that like both are racial slurs. Okay, here's the 0 IQ take. The 0 IQ take is the C word and the N word are just as bad as each other, okay? The 100 IQ take is both of them are bad, okay? But the 180 IQ take is both of them are racial slurs, but maybe some racial slurs are okay. If you want to go, I would respect that route, okay? I don't think I would agree with you, but if like Big Joel or if Hasan came out on Twitter and they were like, you know what? Cracker is a racial slur, and I think it's an acceptable racial slur. I'd be like, hey, you know what? Okay, I respect it, sure. I disagree with you, but at least you're being honest, okay? At least you're being consistent, all right? I have never seen more creativity from the human brain than people trying to get around saying like, insulting somebody based on the color of their skin is actually not have anything to do with racism. It's actually, what was the Big Joel argument? Oh my God, the Big Joel argument was insane. He was saying that like, okay, it is a slur, but the N-word actually says something meaningful about black people, whereas cracker doesn't. Now, I don't know what the fuck I don't know what that means. There's like a million uncharitable ways that I can interpret that, but if I'm steel manning Big Joel, and goddamn does he need a steel manner right now, because holy fuck, that guy is stupid. What he's probably trying to get at is that like the N-word has some actual real history of demeaning intent or something, whereas the cracker word doesn't, I guess, maybe. But like, I wish that people would stop invoking history when they're talking about linguistics, because that's not how language works. Absolutely not. I don't know why people keep it. You're totally missing the point of human language the second you start talking about how a word was used. There's a reason why you're using the past tense of the verb was, right? That how a word was used 100 years ago isn't very relevant to how a word is used today. I can go back to the roots of the word literally and show you what it literally meant, but who cares, right? What matters is, well, how is the word used today, So when people try to say like, oh, well, cracker has its etymology and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, the N-word probably started off as a fucking color somewhere. Or I think it was used in like the Middle Ages I think that word was used in like in fucking, I want to say in like the Middle Ages for some dumb shit before it was the N-word. I think, don't quote me on that. But it's like, but who cares? That's not what's relevant, right? What's relevant is how is the word used today, Big Joel eventually did say racism towards white people is okay, but he still wouldn't concede that cracker could be racist. Oh, cool, hold on, where did it get? In the end, yeah, I guess I do think white people should simply be more okay with being teased for their whiteness than other kinds of people. There it is. Okay. There it is. Finally. Was it so hard to say this? Now just apply literally any of your sociological understandings of any group of people ever, and you will realize how absolutely absurd this expectation is. There we go. I'll leave out the fucking, okay? I'll save that for your mom tonight. Boom! Were you surprised at all at the blowback Hasan got from the LSF community at large? It seems like you would expect more big streamers to come to his defense. I don't know. It was a pretty spicy take from Hasan there.
You don't have many black people. Where's your privilege? You don't feel that privilege. So it's just irritating because like, when left-leaning people talk to marginalized groups, they treat them like retarded children, missing half the brain. They're like, oh, you're so stupid. I know, like, we're going to be so nice to you. Like, you can't control your emotions. You can't help how you interpret anything. Like, everything is offensive to you. Everything's blah, blah, blah. But then when they look at white people, like, oh, we should be able to call you cracker motherfucker. But you should understand these things because you have all the class privilege and because of all the institutionalized privilege and the intersectional privilege. You should understand. It's like, well, wait, why would you expect, like, a white person to have, like,
everything
50
figured
million
out.
years of sociological knowledge imbued in their fucking mind, and then treat every single like marginalized person as like a 4-year-old child that needs you to hold their hand through all of life. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, either everybody's pretty dumb, which is true, or everybody's like a fucking academic sociologist that has like a thorough understanding of like intersectionality in the West. You don't feel like you have a fucking
Guys, some of this made a lot of sense. Some of that made a lot of sense though. And since someone based on their race is racist, dude. Dude, how is this like something that is like illuminating for some people? How is that so illuminating for some people? That's it, end of story. It doesn't have to be some crazy like mental loophole of like, but dude, the power isn't this, this isn't that. But dude, this, that, dude. It doesn't have to.
Hasan called some girl or something like that a cracker. People are mad about it because it's a racial slur. And then people are saying it's the C word or whatever. The only C word really is cunt. And cracker's not really the C word or anything like that. It's obviously a racial slur. It's not as bad as the N word. But you shouldn't be using racial slurs for anybody, in my opinion.
Think about the word cracker.
The what?
The word cracker.
What do I think about the word cracker?
2 of my mods got banned for saying cracker yesterday in a sequence of like 3 minutes.
This fucking guy. I don't use it personally.
Oh.
I would rather describe people with things that aren't just broad stroke derogatory terms based off the color of their skin.
Okay.
Also, I think it's happening. Okay, I think it's happening. All right. I think we're getting a little bit of the swing back. Okay. I think we're swinging back a little bit. Also, Hasan has taken a lot of really big L's recently, and now it could also go the other way. We never know. Okay, the pendulum is a crazy beast. I think a lot of people are seeing through that Hasan is like pretty fucking stupid when it comes to most of his like political or social analysis. Or that seems to be at least on LSF right now. But it's hard to say because you fuckers could be upvoting shit that like makes fun of Hasan. Or it could just be the current jerk wave. And maybe it'll switch, so who knows. Thoughts on Hasan trying to bait myth on the C word advocacy and got rolled? I thought it was pretty funny. Should link Hasan the wiki page of slurs. It has cracker on it. Nice. Oh! Hey. Subscribe to my YouTube, okay? I'm linking it in chat. If I don't get... Just sub, okay? Don't make me bribe you for it. Don't be weird about it. Here. I'm like 6K subs away from 400K, okay? This is an essential point, all right? If I hit 400K subs, I'm gonna dye my hair blue next year, okay? I don't think the pendulum is swinging back. Republicans and the right have gone further right. I mean, the party has allowed crazy people into the ranks, but we're polarizing more. Maybe, we'll see. Why did Lauren delete the tweet that you quote tweeted? Because she knew she was wrong. That's why, okay? What did Lauren tweet? She tweeted something about how, like, people immigrate from violent areas and people never stop to think, well, if they're immigrating from a violent area, they might just bring the violence with them. And I think I quote tweeted and said something like, it's dumb to think of that, like people don't commit violence because it's like inherent to their nature. It's usually because you have like failing institutions and like violence is typically all they have. You know? Like your economy's failing, your government's failing, your education is failing, so people start killing each other for drugs or some shit. Did you see Bree's nasty fucking laptop? Wait, where?
She had a
Oh, God. Oh.
my hero.
Oh my God, that's actually disgusting. Oh my God. There's one good quote tweet, but I don't think it's a big account. Say what you want about Virgil, but his ashes deserve better than to be spread on Bree's computer. We'll boost that guy. Oh my God. Have you seen this tweet from Michaela responding to somebody overreacting to Elon's favorite? Dude, Elon Musk is like the destiny of billionaires. Like everybody that looks at this guy, their like brain just rots instantly. It's like unbelievable. I think Elon Musk was like, oh, I like the Jinx character in Arcane. And everybody's like, oh, this woman tweeted like, I think it's very ironic that the Jinx character is somebody who is the fucking victim of a capitalist mentality that enslaved her parents, and you, the ultimate fucking billionaire, you actually like that character. And it's like, oh my God, chill, bro. It's a fucking TV show. It's a goddamn cartoon, okay?